live. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Yum, yum, yum. All right. So I wanted to start early. Didn't happen, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Lots of stuff going on. Always, of course. But big healing. I want to talk about healing today because healing's been a huge topic of our subject. And healing through what? Well, family, right? Healing through ourselves and how the healing, good morning, Jennifer, rises up within us to heal our, family and everything around us. But it starts with who? It starts with us, right? Our own individual healing. So the cool part is that we have a bunch of different systems that help us to heal. There's different medicines, there's different techniques, there's ancient traditions, there's so many different ways that you can heal your body. In New Mexico, we have curanderos, we have herbs, we have all these different things to heal. Now, there's two parts to this, right? Because there's spiritual healing and then there's also the physical healing. And that's what we call the micro and the macrocosm. At the macrocosm, it's the essence of God moving through us. Sometimes when we get here, in the body and the spirit moves through us, sometimes there's blockages. Now, those are called the chakra systems, right? In our body, the chakra systems, really, it's just a system that's connected to the energy fields that we have and the blockages around it, and also how the hormones secrete in our body. So we have hormones in our body that will secrete and they'll throw us off balance if they're out of whack. So how do we begin to heal the body? How do we begin to heal ourselves so that we can allow the spirit to move through us freely? Okay, so the spiritual healing is the spirit itself is healed. It's purely God's energy coming through us. It's not that the spirit needs to be healed. It's the body needs to be able to accept that spirit through us so that we can heal internally, or so that our bodies are synergized enough to be healed. So how do we do that? Well, again, it's looking at the nutrition, looking at your water, looking at your breath, all of the things that embody or encompass this vessel that's been given to us by God. The vessel itself, right, has these functions. And the first thing, the initial function of the body was breath, right? We breathe. So in the morning, asking yourself, am I breathing in love? Am I breathing? Am I even breathing? Some people don't even breathe. Some people don't even realize that they're so congested and they're not getting in enough oxygen. And then they feel winded or they feel tired and lethargic and they can't move. And it's really only because they're not getting enough oxygen in themselves. So ask yourself those questions, or don't, completely up to you. But still, you can ask yourself, am I breathing? The first thing when I get up, am I just naturally inhaling and exhaling very slowly? Then the next thing is water. Like, how much is your water intake, right? Am I drinking the water? And then nutrients for the body. What am I putting into the vessel as food, as fuel? Those are some basic things to heal the body. Now, acceptance of the spirit. The body itself is a function, is a vessel, so that when we receive the spirit, we don't get kicked on our ass. Because when the spirit comes through us, if our body's not ready to handle it, it will literally drain the life out of you. It drains the life out of me. It's so big, right? It's so vast and so big, and our bodies are so tiny. And all this energy is trying to move through you. So when you heal the body, you allow the spirit to move a little bit more freely. And if there's any blockages in there, it's because the subconscious mind is holding trauma there that won't allow the energy to flow. So in the subconscious mind, it's a buildup of all the programming that we've had throughout our life. Is it wrong, right, good, or bad? No, it's none of those things. It just is. The programming just is. It's a construct. It's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not real. It's not us. It's not God. It's just God in motion. And everything leads us back to God. Okay, sounds paradoxical. I know. Sounds like, well, you're saying it's God, but it's not God, and whatever the paradox is there. There are paradoxes here because to describe things, you have to use dualities here in this three-dimensional time space. We have to. We have to use the dualities in order to describe the experience. But when we're in witness and observer and we're observing ourselves and our bodies, it's a neutral space of saying it's not right, wrong, good, or bad. So how do I allow the spiritual healing? How do I allow the subconscious healing to move up through me? It's not real. We've only attached our mind to the idea that it's real. The idea that it's real. Anything that's not God is not real. It's just not real. It's just an actual projection. And the projection is leading us right back to God over and over and over again. Each scenario that we live, each conversation that we have, everything that's in our life leads us right back to God. When we lead ourselves back to God as a practice over and over and over and over again, we begin to understand how to operate the vessels and to heal the vessel that's within us through God's grace, through remembering that God can heal all, through bringing ourselves back to it over and over and over again. The answers will materialize instantaneously. The information that you need will show up when it's supposed to show up. When the information shows up, it's up to us to choose to take that information and change something about it or not. The program is designed to lead you back to God over and over and over again. But it's your choice. You can either accept it and change, or you can just continue on. And again, it'll bring you right back to God. Again. It's pretty powerful. When you get there, and you do this over and over again, you become witness to it. You become witness to God's miracle. That's the healing part, because you start to see the healing within the family dynamic. You start to see the healing within the spaces around you, not just your healing, but everybody's healing. And you start to see that everybody is in a phase of healing. Are they blocking the healing? Are you blocking the healing? Because sometimes we do that. Sometimes we block the healing. Why? Because the spirit might be too much for us at the time. It might feel like it's too much. Or we're afraid. Or we're holding on to old stories. And it could be a bunch of different things, right? But again, this construct is designed to lead you back over and over and over again. Each individual that you interact with, each word and vibrational thing that comes out of your mouth, everything is part of the program that's designed to lead you back to God. And if you find your way back there over and over again as a practice, back to love, back to God, over and over and over and over again. I sound like a broken record because that's what I do with my life over and over and over again. Same thing, same process. You start to witness God's miracle. You see the people around you there to help you instead of harm you, there to give you some lesson, some jewel, some gem that's supposed to support you for your next move in God's design. If you followed all of the beauty that shows up in God's design and you listen to each individual part of it, it gives you clues on where you need to go to do God's work. It's just all there. God will tell you where to go. God will give you the message. But are you listening? Are you actually listening to the message that God's giving? Are you just hearing it? And then after you do get the message, are you applying it? How do you apply God's message when you hear it? Or are you not? Either way, not right, wrong, good, or bad. But there'll be other messages that come along the way to put you on the path to God over and over and over again. You either choose it or you don't. And it's really that simple. That's how healing happens. Now, on the physical plane, and if you're looking from the left side brain, where we talk about science and how it works, we have the mechanism scientifically to support the body to heal, like food and water and nutrition, because God's design is perfectly perfect. All of it was created to heal. Everything in this system was here to heal us so that we can get right back to the source. Everything. Even the parts that we say didn't. There was some healing that came with that. Some healing that allowed us to heal within every cellular construct in our body. Our body heals naturally. We didn't design it that way. I didn't design it that way. I'm not that cool. I'm not as cool as God. Okay, I'm trying to be as cool as God, but I am not as cool as God. Okay, what's that fast hour? I'm not as cool as God. So I didn't create the healing. I just participate in it. I participate in the healing, right? And it's a choice. You can participate in the healing or not. We're just participating in God's story. We're participants in it, which is awesome. I mean, it's cool. It's fun. We can do fun things. But the healing itself, the very system was created was to heal so that we could come to God, so that we can then do God's work, whatever that looks like for us, which is different for everybody. Everybody has a unique way to express God. Everybody has a unique way to experience God. It doesn't matter the experience. It's not up to me to decide your experience. That's up to you. That's your experience. But you have the ability to experience it. That's the cool part. You have the ability to do that. The ability to actually witness God's miracle. Everybody has it. Everybody. But it's a choice. And it starts with healing, and it starts with understanding how do we heal. Again, in the avatar that we carry around, that healing starts with nutrition and our water and our air and how we breathe and what we drink and what we put into our bodies and how we operate it and how we're taking care of it, because this is our home, right? We want to keep our homes clean. Well, this is our home. How do we keep this home clean? What do we do to clean out this home that was gifted by God? Well, we use God's medicine and lots of ice. Sorry. It's okay. we use God's that's funny. We use God's medicine to support us. And God gave us medicine all over the place. Herbs. I didn't create that. That's cool. God's like, yo, you have a stomach ache? Here's some chamomile. I'm like, whoa, God, you're cool. Thank you. Right? God's like, okay, you're a little bit hungry, you're a little bit, feel this, go ahead. I have this, plants or whatever it is. I didn't create that. I just participate in it. So how do we participate? How do we participate in our own health, in our own healthy journey? We don't have to beat ourselves up if we're off, right? My friend and I were just before this, my friend Suzanne and I were she's talking about sin, being off the mark. We don't have to shame or guilt ourselves for being off the mark. It's okay. Everybody gets off the mark sometimes. It's just forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Okay, I'm off the mark. I know I am. How do I get back on? Finding the balance and constantly getting back on. Good morning, Reggie. Cheers to you too. Get back on. Over and over again. It's okay. No need to be hard on yourself. And that's a lesson that I'm learning. Don't be so hard on myself, Natalie. You're not perfect. I talked about that the other day. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being perfect. I'm okay with, I'm okay. I'm just a vessel of God. I'm just here to utilize this vessel, and whatever way God wants me to use it, I'm going to use it. But I know that part of understanding how to utilize this vessel is to heal. And I know that God gives us the answer to heal. There's always the answer to heal. God has given us the remedy. We don't need to make up the remedy for ourselves. God has given it to us. He's like, oh, look, you get a cut. I've given you, whatever the platelets, whatever happens, white blood cells. I don't know how it happens. And then it scabs up. And I didn't create that. God is like, look, I gave you a healing mechanism in your body. That's pretty cool. I'm all, wow, that's cool. So God gave us these mechanisms to heal our body. So why? So that we can experience God, so we can witness God. It's the experience and witness of God. If we allowed ourselves to surrender to witness God's miracles over and over and over again, you can't make this up. It's just not, we're too tiny. We're just too tiny. And I'm even tinier because I'm short. So there you go. Like, we're the short people, our family. But that's why God said, okay, heal so you can witness me. Heal. And then when we witness God and we recognize God's miracle and we see it over and over and over and over and over and over again, we're like, what else do we need? Nothing. God, that's it. There's nothing, you don't want or need for anything else. But, and that's not the but, we don't need anything else yet. I'll say yet, not but yet, we still exist in this three-dimensional time space. Why? To create. So there's the witnessing of God and then the creation of God in this three-dimensional space. So how do we create God here? How do we support God in his vision for life? You just got to tap into your own personal understanding of creativity. How do I create God in motion, the God within me, the perception of God that I have, the perception that I can see through, the experience that I have with God? It's a personal connection. It's not going to be like mine. It never will be, because you have your own unique fingerprint on this planet, and that expression is divinely yours and it belongs to you. And it's beautiful because God said, here, child, I give you a healing system, and as you heal, you create. And you can create the image of God in your own eyes. And what does that look like to me? God looks like love. It looks like dancing, right? It looks like spirit and coffee for me. That's me saying, here's an expression of a piece of God that I know how to express. Is it right, wrong, good, bad? No, it's just a piece of an expression. It's like you have your piece of expression, whatever that may be. Some people draw, some people color, some people paint. I get that. To me, that's not my stuff. I listen to the music and I hear God in it. I see the paint and I see God in it, but that's not my expression of God in me. Your expression of God, your God self within you, is going to look different, and that's what makes you unique. That's what makes you beautiful. So bringing yourself back to that over and over and over and over again, and allowing God to move through you so that you can create God's miracle. You can help, you can co-create. You co-create the miracle. And then you can observe and witness it, and then you can co-create. And then you can observe and witness it, and you can co-create. You kind of go in and out of these two different things. And you can witness it. And then when you witness it and it feels like it's off a little bit, then you say, okay, how do I redirect my life into my God self again? And then you see the masterpiece show up. And it's like, whoa, that was really cool. But it was in God's grace, it was in God's healing that I allowed myself to do this. The taking care of the vessel. The healthier we are, the more we have time to contemplate God. The healthier we are, the more we have time to contemplate God. The more time that we have to contemplate God, the more time we have to co-create with God. Good morning, Suze. And the more that we co-create with God, the bigger the legacy that we can leave behind. Legacy for who or what? For future generations of people. That's it. We're just leaving information. So information on what? Information on how to remind you that all there is God over and over and over and over again. That's it. That's it. And there'll be a day when no talking needs to be done. Although I talk a lot still. And it's because I'm a teacher. I teach. That's my natural instinct, is to teach. I want to teach people how they can experience God for themselves, how they can witness God's miracle for themselves through their own experience, and not just experience, but embody, not just as a concept, not just as, oh, I get it, but as an actual experience. That's a different level of understanding. We can take a concept, like we can say love, but we can say it, we can talk about it, but experiencing it is different. It's an embodiment. It's a physical sensation. There's things that happen in the body. So we can say, yeah, I'm going to witness God's miracle, but to embody the experience of it and witness it is different. There's two different parts. Like we can look at the trees and say, yeah, I'm witnessing God's miracle. But to embody God's miracle is different. Embodiment of God's miracle means taking care of your health, working on your vessel, making sure that it's clean, all those types of things. And then we embody, and then we witness from the embodiment of it, the experience of it. It's the connection, the internal vibrational frequency, not just the viewing of it, but the feeling of it. So it becomes the feeling and the viewing at the same time. The body's synergized and the eyes are seeing it, but the body's experiencing it and feeling it. They're experiencing what it's like to witness. To breathe in the very essence of God and experience it. There's no word for it. That's all I know. There's just no word except for grateful, humbled. Just, there's no other word. There's not, I don't have a word that I can pull from on what I'm trying to convey. But the experience itself, the embodiment of it, we view it as a projection, but we feel it in the internal body. And those two synergize together, become the full witness of God's miracle. It's amazing. That's it. And I've been experiencing that more and more and more and more. Why? Because the consciousness is waking up. People are remembering who they are. People are starting to say, oh yeah, I forgot, I got amnesia, but that's okay. We all get it. It's all okay. So working on the embodiment of being the witness, of being the observer, of understanding the programming, of looking at the program through the lens of the observer and the witness, to embody and experience what it's like to be in that complete state of observation and neutrality where there's only questions. Huge. Where there is no right, wrong, good, or bad, but merely an expression of question. And allowing God's miracle to flow in front of you like a movie, like a picture, just moving in front of you. And you're just watching and observing it happen in front of you. And the feeling and sensation in the body that goes with it. Where does the sensation come from? Where do you feel it in the body? How are you experiencing it? That's what's different for everybody else, the experience, the embodiment of it. And then what's projected on the external is the observation, the eyes, what the eyes can see in that experience, what everything, the sensations of what you hear within the experience. Completely being present to the moment to witness God's miracle. Powerful. So do or don't, but go out and heal yourself, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever you got to do to get yourself closer to your God self. Every day I'm in practice, and it's accelerating like at a pace I never thought I could, where every chart model, everything's starting to interconnect, and there's a bigger clairvoyance and understanding of how these things operate, to the point where it's like there's no words. That's where I'm at. I'm at a point where there's not any word to describe. Maybe I just create new words. Or go back to Hebrew where there's fire letters, which are the first fire words, perhaps, to describe what is happening. And one word I do know that I will put out there is resurrection, which is happening over and over. People are putting to rest their old self and resurrecting into their new self. And I'm seeing this happen a lot. And perhaps the story of the resurrection through my family, I will tell it tomorrow, because we've had a resurrection in our family, and in a big way, not just like, oh, I think I'm gonna just get it. I'm done with my old self. I'm over it. More like I'm literally sick in my bed and seeing a new spiritual body arise within an individual. It's powerful. Okay. But God's great, and God can do anything. So the miracles are endless. And it's just like, whoa, more than I could have probably ever imagined. That's all I know. So there you have it. Heal, heal, heal. And that's what I do. I pray for the healing of the planet. I pray for the healing of each individual, the healing of my own self, that I be healed, and that others find their way to be in healing, that people find their way to be in healing. And I think that's that. All right. So I love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow. I'm also working on some pretty cool projects. So more to come on that. Just excited that I have God's help with me right now. There's a lot of just beautiful individuals showing up left and right. And I'm just truly grateful to God for that. Grateful for you guys, your beautiful, bright energy that I feel. And I love you guys. So there you go. I love you. Awesome. So I will see you tomorrow, and have a great day, and salud, salud, salud. Okay, love you. Bye.